dogma from original sin and from all other personal sins by the very merit of God from the very moment of her conception. That is, Mary did not have any stain in her body or her soul. That is the dogma we celebrate today. The gospel account already of today's liturgy invites us, wherein God through the angel Gabriel calls Mary, "Hail, full of grace," meaning there is no sinfulness in that lady. God, knowing fully well that he was to save fallen humanity, because after the fall of Adam and Eve, what happened? Death came into the world, sickness came into the world, suffering came into this passing world of ours. And thanks to God's love for fallen humanity, is the Blessed Virgin Mary. That channel is the Blessed Virgin Mary, who, because she was privileged by God, by no fault of hers, of course, by the merits of God himself, in a singular privilege, she was chosen to be the mother of God. And because of her yes to God, God already preserves her from all stain, because he could not pass through a stained channel or a sinful channel to save sinful humanity. It is, of course, but logical that he preserved his mother so as to pass through a channel that is pure, a channel that is stainless, a channel that is faultless, so as to redeem fallen humanity. Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you. The angel already acknowledged Mary as full of grace indeed, as all holy, as all full of grace. We know that it is due to the fault of Adam and Eve, our first parents, the first Eve, that this sin came into the world. On the very first proto-evangelium, Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, we read that already was announced, or a prefiguration of the second Eve, who was to come and smash the head of the serpent. That is the Blessed Virgin Mary. This came about thanks to her yes to God. When the angel came, there are fathers of the church, be they of the east or the west, especially Saint John Chrysostom, who do affirm that when the angel came to Mary, telling her, "You are to conceive and bear a son whom you must name Jesus," the entire world was in silence, in a standstill. No birds were chirping, no sound in the entire human race, because they were listening to the response that Mother Mary would give. Immediately when Mary, the Mother of God, which is the last verse of our gospel text for today, said, "I am the handmaid of the Lord," fiat, she gave her total yes to God, abandoning herself to God. There was great rejoicing in heaven and lamentation, gnashing of teeth, grinding and gnashing of teeth in hell, thanks to her response. Because with that, our salvation now was guaranteed, or our salvation is still guaranteed. At any point in time wherein we do sin as our foreparents did, because we inherit this sin called original sin, at any point in time we depart from God due to sinness, we become naked before the Lord. Remember, when they ate of that fruit, they realized, their eyes were opened and they realized they were naked before the Lord, because they were no longer in the state of original justice. They were no longer in the state of holiness, because they had lost that holiness from God and they became sinful people. With that, their eyes were open and they saw that they were naked. So too, we, dear viewers, we human beings in this passing world, we Christians, each time we depart from God by a life of sin, we are naked before Him. We need to immediately strive towards holiness, encountering the sacrament of reconciliation, and be holy again. People will say, because Mary was privileged, true enough, yes, thanks to the merits of God. Yes, she was, because she is the mother of God. God preserved her from time immemorial. We too can be holy in our own day today, by our little ways, by the way we go about our daily activities, loving God and neighbor. It is possible to be holy in this 21st century, but very difficult too. We need to strive always. And thanks to the powerful intercessory role of this woman, whom we celebrate today, her immaculate conception, can we be capable of attaining that level of holiness. Pope Francis says in his encyclical Gaudete et Exsultate that the universal call to holiness is addressed to each and every person, even the dogmatic constitution on the church, Lumen Gentium, chapter 5. It is addressed to each and everyone. We can be holy. I, Father Alphonse, can be holy. You, dear viewers, you can be holy. But we all need the grace from God, because it is indeed an unmerited favor. When we do cooperate with His grace, as Mother Mary did, then that universal call, that strive towards holiness, will become a reality in our life and in our society. It's not only something of the Blessed Virgin Mary, but also something for you and for me. We are all called, therefore, to be holy. As we celebrate our Mother, Mary Immaculate, free from all sin, let us ask her to intercede for us who are still in this passing world, journeying to meet our Redeemer, so that day in, day out, we should work to be holy and be capable of saying like Saint Paul, look at me, be holy, because I have Christ as my own model. So follow me. That is St. Paul talking. Am I capable of saying that Mary is our ideal model? Because she said, yeah, totally yes to God, someone who desired holiness. As we commemorate, as we celebrate her solemnity today, therefore, may she intercede for us so that we too, despite our weaknesses, despite our shortcomings, may strive day in, day out to attain that level of holiness which our Lord demands from us. May God continue to bless us, O purest of creatures, sweet mother, sweet maid, that one spotless womb wherein Jesus was laid. Mary, intercede for us. Amen. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much, Father Alphonse Wangibe, for our reflection, a call to holiness. We need to be holy. There's a general call to holiness. Thank you very much, Father Alphonse. And before we let you go, you shall also wish Salve Vicinus to a few people. Before you wish Salve Vicinus again to a few people, I'm going to introduce the topic of the day. What do you think can be done in your neighborhood to increase its sanitary conditions? What can be done in your neighborhood to increase its sanitary conditions? I'm sure you find yourself in some areas, perhaps even in Douala, where you may have grown up. What can you do to increase the sanitary conditions in your neighborhood, Father Alphonse?
What we could do to improve the sanitary conditions of our neighborhood, apart from the physical or material things we could do, I think it begins from the mind. Education, proper education of the people. Yes. When people are educated to see they need to be healthy within and without, then they will see how to make sure that environment is clean. The next is that those concerns or those who are in charge should make sure that there are dustbins at various corners of the street, so that people should.
But you should speak to specificities. Your neighborhood. Your
my neighborhood.
Yes,
okay, in Bukwango, where I am. Okay. Yes, in my neighborhood in Bukwango, we see to it that the compound is clean. When it's a jewel of the diocese, of course. We see to it that the compound is clean, the dustbin, and then the lawnmower comes when it's overgrown to put things in order. That's what we do to ensure that.
The vicinities where you go for where you go for communion of the sick, and those areas in Bukwango, what do you think can be done?
Yes, what I think could be done is, I think it's still some sort of education of the people.
Okay.
Yes, when the mind is educated, when the person is educated, then he himself will see the need that his environment should be clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and thank you. Just wish Salve Vicinus to a few people before we let you go.
Salve Vicinus to all those who hold Mary in high esteem, all Marian Group CWA Cadets of Mary, and especially those who will be dedicated today. The new members will be dedicated today as Cali Women Association. I tell them Salve Vicinus as I take this bold step towards following Mary in a unique way. May they desire holiness as she did.
Thank you very much, and that was Father Alphonse Wangibe qui nous a donné sa leçon, la réflexion sur la conception de la Vierge Immaculée. Et nous sommes ici aujourd'hui avec vous sur Salve Vicinus, et nous disons Salve Vicinus à vous tous, particulièrement au groupe et aux membres de la maison DMRTV Radio, DMRTV qui sont à Kumbo, all the members of DMRTV in Kumbo now who are going for the live coverage of the Immaculate Conception Feast Day of the Diocese of Kumbo. We also wish all members of the Diocese of Kumbo Salve Vicinus and a happy feast day. We shall be standing very soon right back. We shall be getting to you right back for our press review. Not really the press review, for our Divine Mercy Info Sorry with Sharon Tita, who shall be standby to treat us to some few aspects making news in Cameroon and around the world. We shall be right back with Sharon Tita to treat us to our news this morning.
Something huge is about to happen in the city of Buea. Launching of Divine Mercy Radio Television. Yes, launching of Divine Mercy Radio Television. DMRTV is a media network of the Diocese of Buea, modeled on the communication strategies of Jesus, the perfect communicator. A Catholic television and radio network in Cameroon on terrestrial and satellite transmission. Be present at the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral Moliko on Thursday, December 15, to witness this groundbreaking event. Highlights of the events shall include Pontifical Holy Mass with the proprietor and promoter of DMRTV, the Bishop of Buea, presiding, a showcase of DMRTV flagship programs, and a lot more. Make it a date with us as we unveil the TV and radio like you've never known before. DMRTV, sharing the light of hope.
Hello dear viewers and welcome to Divine Mercy Info. I am Sharon Tita for a presentation. In the aim of bidding farewell to countries he has served, the Apostolic Nuncio of Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, His Excellency Julio Moriat, paid a visit to the President of Equatorial Guinea this Tuesday, December 6, 2022. Father Michael Njomo now tells us more in the following report.
The Apostolic Nuncio to Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, Monsignor Julio Morad, has come to an end of his stay in Equatorial Guinea. He paid a visit to the President of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea, Obiangema Bazogo. The meeting took place at the People's Palace of Malabo, and the conversation between the head of state and the Apostolic Nuncio focused, among other things, on the willingness to continue strengthening the church's relationship. The Apostolic Nuncio, speaking to the presidential press team, said, "I have informed His Excellency of the end of my mission as Apostolic Nuncio for Equatorial Guinea and Cameroon." Monsignor Julio Morad further told the press that he also wanted to present the willingness of the Holy See to continue making progress in church-state cooperation for the benefit of the people. He also maintained and said in his release of the press, "My wish is that Equatorial Guinea continues to grow in the peace and grace of God." It should be remembered that the representative of the Holy See to Equatorial Guinea and Cameroon has exercised his apostolic mission in both countries for some more than 3 years now.
Members of the Laity Council are strategizing and implementing some measures in mobilizing the Christians of the Diocese of Buea for the upcoming launch of the DMRTV. This took place on Tuesday, December 6, 2022, at the All Saints Parish, Mutengene. Gillian Latata now tells us more in the following reports.
With barely days to the launching of the Divine Mercy Radio Television of the Diocese of Buea, activities have reached fever pitch. Everyone busily engaged with last-minute preparations so as to give the day the grandeur it deserves.
In view of our launching, support the work of evangelization, support the Diocese of Buea, support the Divine Mercy Radio Television. Look at a beautiful fabric. What can you... Let me tell you what you can do. You can sew your sanja, you can do your kaba, you can do your up and down. You can also sew your Nigerian senator with it. I mean, we shall look good in our fabrics come 15th of December. I'm only thinking of January because it is all about hope. It is all about the launching of Divine Mercy Television. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
The Laity Council is in charge of organizing events in the diocese. They are meeting here to chart a roadmap for a successful event.
The launching of the Divine Mercy Radio and Television is coming up on the 15th of December, and it's a very important event. And so we thought it was necessary to invite all the chairpersons of the Parish Pastoral Council in the Diocese of Boya, so we can deliberate and come up with a proper planning program for the launching of the Divine Mercy Radio and Television. So that is the main reason why we came, and then to see how we can sensitize the Christians to attend massively this great event, because it's the first time that we are launching this Divine Radio and Television.
One of the resolutions arrived at during the session was the heavy mobilization and sensitization of Christians in the Diocese of Boya towards supporting the DMRTV project.
Indeed, it was a very fruitful deliberation, and we've come out with a number of resolutions. The first is that we think that there should be a very heavy mobilization. The Christians should come out in their numbers in order to support this launching. That one has been accepted. Then we came out with a little budget to make sure that things go on properly. And then there were some further elements we had to put in place, like the protocol. We talked about the security, we talked about the magazine, and we talked about the fabric. So these are all the elements we'll put together in order to have a very successful launching on the 15th of December.
Meanwhile, many gave immense thanks to the Bishop of Boya, His Lordship Michael Bibi, for such a beautiful initiative, while anticipating the support of many Christians during the launching of DMRTV.
We are expecting that all the Christians of the diocese should come out in their numbers to support the bishop in this occasion to launch this radio and television project. We have been the one calling on the bishop to provide a radio and a television program or TV station for us. For all this while, most of us have been tuning to CBS, which is a Presbyterian radio. But this time around, we are glad that we have our own, not only a radio station, but also a television station. So this will be a very, very important event for all the Christians of the Diocese of Boya to come out in their numbers to show their support for the bishop to have come out with this very, very laudable project for us. I think we are learning a lot now. We are gaining a lot. We are being spiritually enriched every day with the programs that we get from the radio and the television. So I think it's just for us to come out in our numbers on that day and prove to the bishop that and say to him that thank you what he has done for us.
The grand launching of the radio and television is scheduled for Thursday, December 15th, 2022 at the Co-Cathedral site.
The Catholic Education Secretary embarked on an administrative tour to some nursery and primary schools in the Diocese of Boya. This took place on Wednesday, December 7th, 2022. Details in the following report.
The Catholic Education Secretary, together with his entourage, embarked on an administrative tour to St. Paul Catholic School, Edina, and to St. Peter and Paul Nursery and Primary School, Batoke, to assess if the teachers are following up with the syllabus coverage.
You know, we're almost coming to the end of the first term, so it was necessary that we go out to implement some of the objectives that we had at the beginning of the term. So it was necessary to see whether teachers are following up what we had from the beginning, you know, things like syllabus coverage, looking at the timetable, and then looking at the teaching staff. All those things were necessary for us to see. And also to look at the enrollment of students, sometimes because you get statistics, you know, from the head teachers and the rest, but when you do head counts, you discover that those statistics, they don't correspond with the head counts.
During the tour, the Education Secretary and his entourage had a brief meeting with the school manager, head teachers and teachers, where they outlined a number of challenges affecting the school, which leads to low enrollment of pupils.
You people have seen for yourself the building. So that's the first challenge we have. If this building it's really put as it's supposed to be, and the children start using it, we are sure of the enrollment. We are not happy that the enrollment has dropped as compared to last year, but then we hope that next year we are going to have the number of people that we need. In short, it is not really easy to deal with this type of place like Batoke because it is a village.
We have a lot of needs, especially the bus service, which has really brought down the enrollment. But we believe, we pray and hope that with God's grace and with openings that the bishop keeps on looking here and there for, we will be able to have a bus that will transport our children, and with that we know that our enrollment will increase again come next year. So we are happy and we keep on praying for the best.
The Education Secretary, on his part, while listening to the numerous challenges affecting the enrollment of pupils in the different institutions, said the bishop is working hard to ensure that these challenges that cause low enrollment of pupils will be a thing of the past.
I think already quite much is being done in terms of infrastructure, like you went to Edinau, other schools like Boma Street, you see a very wonderful building. So it's not something that we're going to solve overnight. You know, gradually, the bishop is working so hard to make sure that those infrastructures are, some of them, they're either renovated, others are built completely new. I think we just have to try with the available means that we have, you know. And then with transportation too, it's the same. It's the same. We can't promise to give transportation overnight, but I think that the bishop is doing everything within his power to make sure that we try to solve some of these difficulties.
In the days ahead, the Education Secretary will continue this administrative tour in other schools in the Diocese of Boya.
This report brings to an end of Divine Mercy Info. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sharon Tita, and Jude Baku is already standby to treat us a paper review and newspaper review. It was nice having you, Sharon, around. But for our technical issues, we shall move straight away to the press review with Jude Baku.
Hello there, good morning, dear viewers. You're welcome to this beautiful edition of Press Review on SALVE VICINUS. This is DMRTV. And this morning we are beginning with the Cameroon private English loan daily newspaper, the Guardian Post. Please, let's have the Guardian Post. We begin with the Guardian Post newspaper. You see on your screen there, the major story on the Guardian Post today has to do with the case, the sex scandal that is rocking cast in Kumba. And you have there the lead story is talking about a lawsuit that is dangling on the head of the Meme SDO, that is Chamberlain Tundong. And that story is saying that Chamberlain Tundong, who is the SDO for Meme, has been taken to court by a lawsuit there. You have him alongside the picture of barrister Eno Valerici, one of the defendants, one of those defending the accused people of the case in Kumba. Recall that some weeks ago, a serious incident happened in Kumba, in Kas Kumba, where the principal and others were indicted for some sex scandals. At the top of that newspaper, we have the editorial there by the boss of the Guardian Post himself, Nga Christian, who says, when Eto dishonors Cameroon again. This story has to do, or the editorial has to do with the incident that happened with Samuel Eto'o in Qatar some days ago after brutalizing, I want to put it that way, brutalizing an Algerian YouTuber who has been on the neck of Cameroonians, because Cameroon won over them in Algeria, in Blida, in Algeria, some months ago to qualify for the World Cup. Now we have still on the Guardian Post newspaper, down there it says, combating gender-based violence, Chifu Siri Foundation sensitizes over 2,000 students and youth. That story there by Do Bertrand Noah of the Guardian Post newspaper is emphasizing on the role that some gender activists are putting in to fight gender-based violence. Let's leave the Guardian Post newspaper and take you over to the Horizon with its banner story. Let's have the Horizon newspaper. The banner story reads, Glencore corruption case, proactive DR Congo reaps big, but Cameroon uncompensated. It says whistleblower Akere Muna attributes Cameroon's youth to official policy of shielding corrupt officials, while Congo acted fast and got $180 million compensation. You might want to get that newspaper and get details of that story. And still on that newspaper, The Horizon, it has a story which is of interest to many Cameroonians these days. Most newspapers are reporting that Cameroon welcomes U.S. indictment of suspected separatist sponsors. The head of state, President Paul Biya, the Minister of Defense, that of Territorial Administration, that of External Relations, have written a couple of letters to the United States of America, thanking them, appreciating them for the bilateral collaboration for arresting some kingpins of the ongoing Anglophone crisis who are resident in the United States of America. Get that paper and you will be able to have details of that story on page 10 on The Horizon. Well, we move over to the Post newspaper. It's the Weekender edition. It has a banner story. Anglophone crisis detainees accuse government of systematically denying them healthcare. Anglophone crisis detainees accuse government of systematically denying them healthcare. They write that their story continues to say, many have died from preventable causes due to neglect, and it is not new that situations of healthcare are very worrisome in Cameroonian prisons, and most especially those who have been arrested in the situation of the Anglophone crisis. They are yearning that their health conditions are not really the best. Still on the Post newspaper, Tumfon Nico Hale obtained Peace Crusader Award. Tumfon Nico Hale is a Peace Crusader. You've had more than close to 100 awards. If I'm not mistaken, he celebrated more than 100 awards last year when it comes to Peace Crusade, internationally and locally. And just to end with the Post newspaper Weekender edition this morning, at the top right is here of that newspaper says Southwest witnesses 1.9% drop in HIV prevalence in 5 years. Well, that's good news for the Southwest region that for some time now had been noted as one of the highest in terms of percentage of HIV prevalence. The newspaper is telling us that for 5 years now, the percentage is dropping by 1.5%. Kindness, Jogo, thank you for the papers. I'm sure we are going to leave it there at that level. For the Mike and Jomo, those are newspapers this morning. And like usual, we usually encourage readers to not just listen to us and then think that they have gotten the stories. Yes. Sometimes I leave the studio and meet people in the street, and then they are debating the papers with me, even what they do not understand. Yes. So it's important to get papers, get the details. Don't stick your nose into an argument you don't master.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much, Jude Baku, for treating us to the newspaper review. But before we let you go, you shall just give us your own take on our topic before we continue today with a lot of interesting things which we are bringing to you on SALVE VICINUS today. But Jude Baku, I want to ask you, what can be done to improve the sanitary conditions in your community? What can be done to improve the sanitary conditions in your community?
In my community means it is not just about myself now.
Yes,
it's
and
about
your neighborhood.
The
Community, your neighborhood particularly.
I would have loved to say it begins from an individual, because when you start from your individual self, it extends to the community.
Yes.
So what can be done? My own approach has been that I don't litter
Yes.
I'm the kind of person who do not litter the streets or any place for any reason.
Yes.
I take my dates, my house, I carefully keep it where I know that the people, the Zakam guys who are in charge, when they come, I take it to them. But if we're to say I'll leave my house in the morning and then I go cleaning the streets I've never, at the community level,
yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I really hardly take an initiative.
Okay.
But I think community leaders can work towards that and engage us who are part of that community in different ways so that we can collectively, if there's a cleanup campaign, definitely I will be part of it. If there's what we used to call community work. In those days, we used to have cleanup campaigns. Cleanup campaigns should be community work where they stop activities across the board. No one opens the shop, no one goes to the market. You stay back and keep the quarters and the communities clean. So
okay, thank you.
I think that if everyone is engaged.
Thank you very much, June Bako. I think the municipality of Boya is already carrying that out sometimes on Wednesdays. Keep Boya clean Wednesdays. Thank you for being with us and thank you for the press review. We keep on watching Divine Mercy Television for you and sharing the light of hope. And right away, we shall be with our first guest on our program today on Salve Vichinus. Thank you very much. Very much and welcome. Today we are going to have our first guest. I'm in the presence of a young lady who is going to tell us about, this time not necessarily the sanitary conditions in our community, though she's going to touch it somehow, but something which it's recurrent in our country, something which is recurrent in the world. Gender-based violence. I'm the presence of a gender expert, Array. That's the Ari, right?
Ari Claudia.
Ari Claudia, sorry. Yeah, always Ari Claudia. Ari Claudia is with us today, and she'll be telling us some few aspects on the gender-based violence. Welcome and good morning. Salve Vichinus to you, Ari Claudia.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you have to respond with us. Salve Vichinus.
Salve
Vichinus. Yes, it means good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Thank
and
you.
it's the church's language, Latin.
Okay.
You know, the Catholic Church,
yes.
our first language is Latin.
Latin. That's
great.
Right.
Salve Vichinus to you again.
Should I say Salve Vichinus?
Yes.
Salve Vichinus.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ari, it's nice being with you, Ari Claudia. And you're a gender expert. We like to say gender expert, but you're dealing with gender issues. So what is up this time around? We see we hear there's a match which is going to take place and it's going to be going on. So could you brief us more about the aspect?
Yeah, thank you. The Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa is carrying out a march, and this is not just like any other normal day. It's in commemoration of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. This happens between the 25th of November to the 10th of December.
Yes.
If you count, it's exactly 16 days.
Yes.
It was inaugurated in 1991, and this particular period is set aside for individuals, organizations, governments to fight against or increase and intensify awareness on gender-based violence, which is an ill that is eating up the society.
Okay. What are some aspects of gender-based violence which you have laid hand on when you're on ground?
Looking at the context of the crisis, we have sexual harassment, there's rape, there's psychological and emotional abuse. Oh, not to forget, there's economic abuse as well.
Okay.
Because since the crisis started, you can bear with me, you are aware that some companies laid off their workers,
yes.
male workers.
Yes.
And because of that, most women shoulder the burdens. And because they shoulder the burdens, some men who have their naturally stereotypical minds have not been able to live with the fact that their women are now the breadwinners.
Okay.
Because men have always had this conception that they are the breadwinners, they are the heads of the family.
Yes.
So because of that, many women are facing psychological, physical abuse, and even economic, because now some of them, for some cases we've worked with, women go out to work and when they come back, their husbands take their money. Now me I suppose they for this place.
Yes.
Now me suppose hold the money. So give me that money.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. Especially amongst internally displaced persons.
Okay.
You give someone money to start up a business, and then the next minute they come back, Mama, sir, take that money.
So that's nice. I mean, you see the struggle and what we have been going through the crisis, but I have a tricky question to ask. When there is, say, gender-based violence, my understanding of gender is male or female. So how do we do to also incorporate the men who sometimes are abused, who sometimes are economically exploited economically? I mean, what is your organization doing about that?
Yes, we know that when we talk of gender-based violence, we are referring to violence that is exerted on an individual based on their sex. So we are not only looking at women, but looking at men. The reason why people talk a lot about women is because initially, the perpetrators have been mostly men. We don't deny that women are not perpetrators, that they cause harm, but it's mostly from men, and that's why we advocate. And if you look at it, tracing it way back, we have customs and traditions that have always, put the woman at the back of the seat. We are not only talking about physical abuse or insult, assault or rape. We are also looking at traditional practices that have always, traditional practices and customs that have given man authority and power which they use over the women. So in as much as they are in positions where they can experience abuse and violence from women, but women face it more just because of this process. We call it the socialization process that has been from way back as a result of our societal constructs and rules. Now, what is the organization doing? In involving women and men, whenever we are carrying out our campaigns, our projects, we ensure that men are also involved, because we know that they too are part of the entire process as perpetrators, as victims. So we involve them. And the thing is, even if we try to empower women, teach them, give them the skills and knowledge they need, we cannot ignore the fact that they will go back to men who are not enlightened. So we involve both the men and the women so that all of them will be at the same reasoning level. Exactly. So we involve both the men and the women. When it comes to economic empowerment, like what we've been doing at the center, we did not only give the opportunity to women, but we also gave an opportunity for men too who could be empowered. We had a training program in tailoring at the organization. It was completely free. So we graduated the first batch mid last year. In the course of a project that we are running, it's on involving women and communities in general, women and men and girls and boys. We've also been empowering boys and men in soft skills like cake making, baking and all, the production of detergents, Omo, soap, eau de javel as we call it. So yes, we involve men in all our activities because we know the importance of involving both sexes, not really gender.
Thank you very much. Now, what are the peak activities of this celebration? 16 days peak activities.
We started day one with a press conference, and day two we launched it officially with a fireside event which was held at the Boya Arts Complex just at Bongo Square. It was very interesting. We had young persons and old persons who gathered around a fireside to discuss issues around gender-based violence and how young persons can be empowered to combat gender-based violence in their communities and their spheres of influence. We've had workshops to train women and men, young persons, girls and boys separately. And then we've had school visits. This year was very intense. We've had school visits to talk to, engaging children and students, or children and young people in the process of ending gender-based violence. The theme for this year's 16 days of activism is Unite, Activism to End Gender Violence Against Women and Girls. And with this, we recognize the need to involve everyone. So we are not only looking at this woman who is being violated or the man who is being abused by his wife, but we are looking at the man, the woman, the children. We are looking at organizations that can give a hand. We are looking at the health sector. We are looking at governments. Everyone should be involved, and that's exactly what we've been doing. So for today, we have that march, which will start from Bongo Square to Moliko, somewhere around the stadium. the significance of this march is just for people to see that we are out and we mean business. Okay. Yes, when we say we need to end gender-based violence, we want people to see that we are serious. You know that when you step out for a cause, people begin to take it seriously. But when you stay indoors or behind closed doors and you're doing something, yes, how many persons will see it? Okay. You know, so yes.
Thank you very much. It was nice having you, Ari Claudia. But then again, we see come back. What can be done to improve sanitary conditions in animals? And you also as a gender activist, a gender expert, you as a gender expert and dealing with these things. What are some things which could be done also to improve the sanitary conditions of the communities which have such aspects, or some of the girls or women who have been suffering from this gender-based violence? What do you think can uplift them spiritually too?
Well, the first thing I would say is to increase awareness on the need for proper hygiene. Yes. You know, when I started working in this field, that was back in 2017. Yes. What we started working with was on menstrual hygiene. Yes. Now, we did not teach young girls in small communities, rural areas, on how to wear their part. We taught them how to wear it properly and how to dispose it properly. Because if you don't dispose that part properly, you'll be littering the environment. The environment will be dirty, and then it's going to be harmful. About waste management, personally, just like what your colleague said, personally, I am very cautious when I'm on the road and I have dirt, something like a plastic or something I have to litter. I look for where there's a trash can. If I cannot get a trash can, I keep it in my bag. Sometimes I notice that dirt the next day in the morning. Not that it's hygienic, but I prefer not to throw it because you might even get embarrassed. So people should work with their conscience. Yes. We work with some women in Tiko, Watatang, and they told us that they had a problem of, they had a particular community that just prepared a dumping site. Okay. By the roadside in their own community. So what they've been doing as a community was that they prepared their days, they set out cleaning days, to pack out the trash from that dumping site, which was not prepared by them. And then they took public action. They went to the quarter heads, they went to the chiefs to warn those communities that were bringing trash to their own community to stop. So even if you're keeping your environment clean and you see that someone else is trying to litter it for you, you need to take action. Okay. Yes, in the right place.
Thank you very much. This was Ari Claudia, and they will be having a march today for the awareness and sensitization of the peoples on gender-based violence. There will be a march, 16 days of the activism in 2020 to 60 days of activism in 2022. Ari Cecilia and the group, and we having their march pass to bring to awareness of our people the necessity of the gender to stop gender-based violence. And we have also gotten an opinion on how to improve our sanitary conditions and what they have been doing also as an organization and meeting more women to sensitize them on the sanitary conditions for in this it comes in tandem also with gender activities. We also thank her very much for being with us, and it's was nice having you here, Ari Cecilia. And I give you the opportunity to wish Salve Vicinus to a couple of people.
Salve Vicinus.
Salve Vicinus.
Salve Vicinus.
Yes.
But to my mom, to my colleagues at the office, and my loved ones.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ari. I'm sure you have left here from the Divine Mercy Radio Television, Catholic TV, with a Latin word. I'm sure it's one of your first Latin words you're knowing. I'm one of you. I'm not saying the first, actually. Salve Vicinus. Good morning to you. And have a nice day. We wish you all the best. Nous sommes ici sur le plateau de Divine Mercy Radio Television. On était avec Ari Cecilia avec Ari Claudia qui nous a parlé beaucoup sur les activités de son NGO et de gender-based violence qui se passe ici à Boya. Et nous allons la laisser et nous serons ici encore pour notre interview avec notre artiste, pas d'artiste, mais notre invité spécial du jour. Merci.
Je vous salue Marie, pleine de grâce. Le Seigneur est avec vous. Vous êtes bénie entre toutes les femmes. Et Jésus, le fruit de vos entrailles, est béni.
Thank you, and welcome back to our favorite program on Divine Mercy Radio Television, Salve Vicinus, and I am here again. And this time we shall be meeting another guest. We have another guest in the studio, and what more? We are talking about what can we do to improve sanitary conditions in our community. But guess what? There is an innovation which one of us has brought out on how to use waste material, how to use refuse to produce something fashionable and wonderful. What a beautiful initiative. Dear viewers, we are going to be today with Catherine Nathan, Salve Vicinus to you.
Salve Vicinus, Father.
Thank you very much. This Catherine Nathan has you graduate BSc in geology and in the University of Boya, and you did apprenticeship for a few months, and you went ahead to Ghana to study design in the Institute of Africa. Can you tell us more about yourself and about this?
I'm Catherine Nathan, and yes, I have a BSc in geology. I studied fashion designing in Ghana at JACCD Institute of Africa. So coming back to Cameroon, we launched our brand, Katarina Nathan, and the brand is focusing on sustainable fashion. Okay. Through this brand, we have been able to develop another brand, another association to it called Afro Sustainable Fashion Initiative Network.
Okay, cool. So sustainable fashion, Afro Sustainable Fashion Initiative Network. What is Afro Sustainable Fashion? I mean, what is it all about? I see fashion, I see sustainable, I see Afro. I mean, how do you do it? What's
Afro Sustainable Fashion Network? It's an initiative that brings fashion designers in Cameroon together, and we are hoping to actually include more fashion designers across Africa to join us in working on sustainability. Okay. So that we can bring out the sustainable idea of it, because the fashion industry is the most polluting industry in the world.
Yes.
It's the second most polluting industry in the world after the petroleum industry.
Okay, that is, it pollutes the environment.
Yes.
It causes dirt, litter.
Yes.
Again, touching on our topic on sanitation in our environment.
Yes.
So, how does the fashion industry pollute the community? But before you tell us that, I would like to check with kindness if we can have a video and insert on the production of waste. But while we are preparing for the production of waste, could you just drill us a little on how the fashion industry contributes to the littering in community and the pollution we see around?
First of all, in the entire world right now, we have 8.3 billion plastic waste, and 6.3 billion is we have 8.3 billion plastic and 6.3 billion is waste. Only 9% of this is being recycled to use in different forms, and the fashion industry contributes to 35% of this. The fashion industry is responsible for 35% of plastic waste in the world. So us, the fashion designers, we are like the game changers. We influence the world a lot through our clothing. 69% of our clothing is made up of plastic. So yes, if fashion designers come together to work together and bring and reduce this plastic waste, even by educating the clients so that they are able to shy away from certain fabrics or to redesign from their waste, it will actually help to reduce the waste pollution in the world.
To redesign from their waste?
Yes.
This is an interesting initiative, Catherine. We are marveled that waste can be used again to reuse. We are talking about waste recycling, avoiding dumping issues, the refuse, cleaning our environment, the sanitary conditions in our environment. And guess what? Catherine Nathan, with her initiative, has come up with something on how we can use the same waste to produce fabrics, and fabrics which we can avoid, so it doesn't cause death and pollution in society. What a great initiative. We shall now look at a video which has been made up to teach us on what to do and the problem which she is solving with regard to sanitations in our environment.
Let's
Let's talk about our clothes and how they affect our environment. Whenever we choose to wear something nice, we go pick up a fabric from a fabric vendor who asks our designers to do so for us based on the style we want. The designer cuts out the style. The pieces left are mostly dumped in waterways, burnt, or end up in the landfills. Even our clothes are disposed of in this way. The pieces from designers and from our old clothes are transported by rainwater and small streams, and all these end up in the oceans, causing an increase in microplastic pollution. This affects aquatic life, killing millions of aquatic animals every year. And this does not end up with aquatic life alone. Microplastics from the fashion industry have been found in organs and bloodstreams of humans through the consumption of seafood, and this is causing a huge health hazard. So you can imagine how you look beautiful in your beautiful outfit, but little do you know how much the processing and procedure of making that outfit is causing the environment. But the good thing is that there is a solution. Let's come together and work for a solution. Watch out for the solution.
Okay, thank you very much. He says, watch out for the solution. We shall come to the solution then. But while the problematic has been explained, the problem has been explained, it causes hazards. Now, I'd like to ask you, Catherine, what kinds of fabrics are hazardous to the environment? What kinds of fabrics? Could you just name them, which you can educate our people?
Yeah, a few of the fabrics that are hazardous to the environment and are very commonly used by designers here are polyester, lycra, spandex, and we have some types of cotton as well that the process of the cotton production is really bad, that it's actually good to avoid it because it consumes a lot of water is being used into producing those types of cotton. Okay. So
does it cause a hazard on when you put on or when you dispose? How hazardous is it, the hazard? How hazardous is the hazard? Also, what extent? Is it when we put on such fabrics that or when we litter the fabrics? I mean,
it's when we litter and when we wash them. Okay. Especially during washing, the fabric releases about 7,000 microplastics into the environment. These microplastics they drain into our environment, go into waterways. They end up being consumed by aquatic life, and when we consume them, it affects us as well. It also affects our crops because the plastics on the soil now, they are really microplastics. So most of we cannot easily see them with our naked eyes. So when fish consume this, the fish is full, but it's not gaining the nutrients that it's supposed to have. So it ends up dying, and that is how every year we have hundreds of thousands of aquatic life dying, and it's really a big problem because the fashion industry is contributing to this the highest.
And how do we dispose now of unwanted fabrics to reduce this pollution? How can we dispose of unwanted fabrics?
So currently, the Afro Sustainable Fashion Initiative did a survey with 200 fashion designers to see how they know, whether they know about plastics in fashion. And we realized that less than 10% of them had an idea of plastics in fashion. They know little about plastics in fashion. So we created a program to train them to be able to identify the plastic-based fabrics from the non-plastic-based fabrics. And through this, they have been collecting their waste after they design for their clients. They collect their waste now and redesign. They come out with great and beautiful designs that they have even been selling and making money from them. For example, what I'm wearing is purely from waste fabric. These are pieces that I was supposed to throw away, and I picked them up to design this.
What a beautiful idea. These are pieces we should know and you picked up to design. Catherine, we are proud of you. This is a wonderful initiative which you are bringing up. So could you now tell us more? What are your prospects for this this movement as I can say? What are your prospects for it, and what measures are you taking to sensitize the people on keeping the sanitation and keeping their areas clean in regard to design and fashion?
So in this platform, we're encouraging fashion designers in the Afro Sustainable Initiative platform. We're encouraging designers not to dump their waste. Most of them were burning or dumping them. So right now, they are no longer burning. They are redesigning from them and creating designs that are even bringing them, adding to their income. And also we have a fashion show coming up to promote this idea so that more designers will come together to do this. And this fashion show, they are going to be winning great prizes from designing, where they are going to showcase only designs from their waste. And the first prize is from 500. The first prize is 500,000.
Wow.
The second is 200,000. The third is 100,000 francs. So designers are going to win these prizes from picking up waste fabrics in their shops instead of throwing them away and dirtying the environment.
The environment, yes. Instead of throwing them away, the inside take and design.
Yes,
I know the earbags, some people they have to register and come for that.
Yes, we have the registration is currently going on now. So we're calling on more designers to join the initiative so that we have a cleaner environment.
That is so wonderful. So how are designers receiving the project?
So far, it's really been great because they knew nothing about it. And the fact that it's also bringing them income from what they would have thrown away is something really exciting. And the designers really love it. They love the designs that come out from it. You can see the designs are very unique. They cannot be the same. Like what I'm wearing right now, if somebody asks for it, when I design it, it will look different. It will be the same design, but the colors of the fabric will be different.
Yes.
Since I have to pick up pieces and put them together.
Okay.
So every design from a sustainable fashion is always unique.
Okay. That's nice hearing from you. And we are going to look at the video now, which also answers the problem which has been raised, the problem of littering and pollution, the pollution which is caused by fabrics and design. Again, in tandem with our topic, what can we do to improve the sanitary conditions in your community? And guess what? Catherine had a solution which we haven't thought about. We haven't looked at this side of the story. We haven't looked at fashion designing and the waste which is being produced from fabrics. But Catherine has a solution for us to Salve. We have this only on Salve Vichinus, the TV, where we share the light of hope. Even with our waste, there is hope. There's hope in everything, so long as there's life, and that's what we are all about. Sharing the light of hope. There is hope. Everything which we see, we can make an answer. We can make the best from our society and our environment. Just watch the second video where we bring to you a solution.
Welcome to our training empowerment promotion model. The key aspect of our training in the TEP model is to reduce plastic-based fabrics in the local fashion industry. It is about helping designers redesign from their waste plastic-based fabrics that they would have thrown away. At the first stage, we show them how to sort through the waste fabrics and place them in two different types, that is, plastic-based and non-plastic-based fabrics. It's important to note that these are pieces that designers would have thrown away, but redesigning from them reduces waste pollution in our environment. We show them how to sort out the different types based on texture and content. It's important that when you sort out from this waste, you start working from your larger pieces to the smaller pieces so that it will be much easier for you. So our first design is going to be a jacket. We are designing this jacket as it's a cold season. Our beautiful trainees here will sort out the larger pieces for us to design this jacket. Here is the pattern we will be working with. We are going to use the pattern right now to cut out the pieces. Patterns patterns are very important in that one pattern can be used in creating different designs and also working with smaller pieces of fabric like these waist fabrics we are working with. So you can divide your pattern into smaller pieces to fit the pieces you have, the pieces of fabric you have. As you can see, using the larger pieces, we have been able to create a pattern that blends into each other. We chose colors and the colors kind of blend, as you can see, from the back and the front. We will be showing you the outcome of this jacket in our next video, but for now, here is an example of what we have done. As you can see, the pattern was divided into different pieces to give a unique but classy and colorful look. This is all from waste fabric that would have been thrown away, but you can bear with me, you can really bear with me that this is beautiful. This is a beautiful piece. So, based on this principle, we are training designers on how to design so many different types of outfits from their waste fabric that they would have discarded. And that adds to the problem of microplastics in the environment that ends up in our oceans. So look forward to the next design using fabric pieces that would have been discarded.
What a beautiful and wonderful initiative Catherine Nathan has brought for us. Catherine Nathan, a Catholic Christian too, of the St. Anthony of Padua's Parish, Boyatan, and also St. Catherine Mission Station sometimes at Great Support, that tells us that through you and through inspiration which God has given you, then we are able to see how to better dispose of our waste and to stop the littering in our community. And our question still remains: what can be done to improve the sanitary conditions in your community? Above all, what we haven't actually thought about, when we litter our clothes or litter materials after sewing, then we can use them to produce new fabrics like what Catherine has now on herself. This is a fabric made from waste material, what would have been thrown, and a beautiful pullover has been made from that. So tell us more again, Catherine, what led you to this concept? What prompted you to come out with such a beautiful initiative?
It's always been, I've always been able to do things and manage something. Like when I'm doing something, I have to manage and keep this one here that I'm going to use it later. And when I started learning how to sew as an apprentice, what I was doing was I was working with t-shirts. I was always doing t-shirts, and these t-shirts, I realized that I did not have to buy much fabric to do them since I was just doing designs on the t-shirts. So when I do the design, I just pick up pieces and I put them together and a beautiful t-shirt comes out. So this really made me to understand that these pieces that we throw away can really be useful. And when I went to fashion school, my senses were picked up again because we had a training on sustainable fashion designing, and I was selected for a competition with the British High Commission Council in Ghana, where we presented waste designs. We presented designs from our waste fabrics, and then I did designs from waste jean trousers. These designs was to raise awareness for the climate change awareness in Ghana at that time, where the British Council was launching. So that's how I've always been interested in it. The school really helped me also to make me more interested in sustainable fashion designing.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine Nathan, and for your Africa Afro initiative, for again the
Afro Sustainable Fashion Initiative.
Thank you very much for that. It was nice having you here. But the last question before we let you go, and before you wish Salve Vicinius to a few people who are dead now, you know that we have to sometimes dispose. There may be some which we may not really use. So how do you dispose fabrics after they may be used? How do you dispose those harmful fabrics?
So for now, we are working on getting a resource center where we'll be going around to collect waste fabrics that designers are not able to use. We'll collect these waste fabrics. We come to the resource center with the machines that we're able to acquire. We will be shredding this and transforming these little pieces that cannot be reused to other forms of things that we can use at home. They can be transformed into foam where we can use for chairs, we can use for pillows and rugs at home. So this resource center is also offering free fashion design training now to displaced women and girls. We're actually doing free training on fashion designing, where we're focusing on sustainable designing for displaced women and girls, so that they can have a source of income. They can be able to fend for themselves by just going to fashion designer houses, picking up their wares and designing and making money from them.
Thank you very much, Nathan, Catherine. It was nice having you here. I will give you, before we let you go, to wish Salve Vicinus to a couple of people.
I would like to wish Salve Vicinus to my husband, my family back home that is currently watching, and to the fashion family in Cameroon and across the world.
Thank you very much for that solution. We pray God bless you as you continue with your activities of sensitizing the people on keeping places clean, sanitation, and making the world a better place. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you next time. Salve Vicinus to you, Catherine Nathan, and to all our televiewers. Salve Vicinus, and we wait to have our ends meet.
Hello televiewers, thanks for joining us on our beautiful slot where ends meet. Today we went into the quarters of Mile 18 and we actually have something very, very interesting for you guys. After this short interlude, I'll introduce to you my guests on today's edition. For joining us back again. Without taking so much of your time, I will take you to this young entrepreneur. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name?
My name is Nde Bafilakis.
I see you cook. What you cook?
I cook pepper soup, goat meat. And I stay beside a Chariot Hotel, just as Chariot Street.
So for how long you don't be into this pepper soup business?
I don't be for close to 6 months now, going to a year, half of the year.
Okay, so why you choose this pepper soup business? Let's see business and for do why you choose the one?
No, I choose the business because I realize that the business they help me and they help my family. And for example, the business is a very nice business because when I go out for go buy, I face difficulty there, but God bless me, I get someone them for bring them for car.
So what will be the kind of difficulties the way you face them?
Like for the place where I go buy, I go on Terra for Mondoni, I send money for Bamenda, they bring them. Sometimes I take my personal motor, go inside Mondoni, inside that camp, they go find her. I face the difficulty I need sample. Sometimes I get 1 or 2.
Okay. So wait, the spices them, how you spice the pepper soup?
For this one now, as I just say, the green so now, the spice is the way I don't prepare, I don't go grind for machine. Then the one where I hold now, the juncture, there they put the pepper. Before I put the pepper, I don't put garlic, I don't put ginger, and mix a granum. Yeah. Then I get for another spices. When they just steam. I could put out another spice, but now I know people put the spice because the one now they could make, now they could steam the meat now, the spice now not could enter inside the meat where anybody the chop and you get the taste of the chop.
So they are chop with the seller. How much kind of people they sell for them?
I get kind people there. People that they give me commands. So when they, even for occasion them, even for if you get a bon house, even you get even a married, any occasion I make them. I get last week I be get less of 5. I command them. If you not get goat, you call me. I supply you goat. If you want, I say my abona arrange for you can take her. If you want a barbecue, I make all thing I do.
So when you talk with you a young brother there for outside way, they look the business listen only for some kind of people there.
Well, I go advise my young brother. I say this business where they do a very nice business because it help. Chop na two way you make and find that the chop them. For me, that I be starting my business. I be start a graduate, but I get people the way big people that. So when they come arrive for taxation, so when they come arrive for court, I get kind group the way they call me. They come guy for do my place for buy a child. They catch up. I get days where I make a Monday, Thursday, Sunday. But all these days now starting today Thursday, go jam for Sunday or the do one because customer they were coming. So when they even insist they make it every day. I just say me to not get time. They work to not easy, but they struggle for sacrifice them because they like the good meat.
So if you sell how many good meat for one day?
I just sell 5 good meat for one day.
So how you do burn them?
I use something they call say presson. I use them when I buy gas at time for day. When I use them now, I blow them. When I finish blow now, I take iron sponge, brush and clean them clean. Then the bone go together with crazy like way these other guys they do and no. I do them perfect way. When I don't blow now, I brush and now with iron sponge. I wash them clean. When I don't clean now, I cocotte them half for the size where I sell them.
Why they need born goat meat together with kerosene?
Because customer they complain. You know if you want born goat with kerosene, customer want to buy the same for kerosene. Instead you drive the customer them. So when you use that person, you blow and you wash them at least. They don't even smell for anything. Yeah, they smell kerosene of it because most people they where they go so play go chop and they smell kerosene. Next time the person no pass and you drive it. Because if some man catch us something way, you know next time no pass.
So but like me you tell we how the business don't help you and your family for this length of time where you don't do them.
Yes, for now the business don't help me with my family because each time where I cook them, they chop them. If they remain, you know, they help me. But each time where I make them, it finish. It should say at least I generate more income. It help me and my family.
So what like me you really explain how it help you? Married man or
yes, I'm married. I get my kind of way at least it help me sponsor them for school and so on.
Thank you very much, bro. We'll come back for you after.
Yeah, thank you.
Televiewers, that was where ends meet for you with me, Gillian Tatayenla for presentation. Thank you and see you some other time.
Yes, here we are again on SALVE VICINUS, and if you see me standing, means we are already on our way to conclude our SALVE VICINUS for today. We have to be rushing to the Diocese of Kumbo, where it's all epic and celebration. We have had today wonderful aspects and very truly 2 guests on our program SALVE VICINUS. Just remain glued to your televisions, the Divine Mercy Radio Television, where we shall be going to the Diocese of Kumbo. We shall be at the Diocese of Kumbo and we shall bring to you the live, the mass of the 40th anniversary of the celebration of the Diocese of Kumbo. While we are here, we wish Salve Vichinus to you all. Happy feast day of the Immaculate Conception to all people from the Diocese of Kumbo, all Christians of the Diocese of Kumbo, all priests, all religious, and particularly to the Bishop of the Diocese of Kumbo, His Lordship Bishop George Nko. And now we come to our end of our program, Salve Vichinus, and we shall remain with you on all other programs. We leave you in the company of many interesting programs on our Divine Mercy Radio Television. We celebrate now with the Diocese of Kumbo as they celebrate their 40th anniversary. Happy anniversary to the Diocese of Kumbo. Salve Vichinus to all the members of the Diocese of Kumbo, all the priests, religious, and Christians of the Diocese of Kumbo. Bye-bye. Well, before we leave you, we listen to some good songs where we shall dance with members and with Christians of the Diocese of Kumbo. Not forgetting also, SCWA Mamas who are celebrating the Feast of the Immaculate Conception today and the Obi dedication today. We wish a happy dedication to those who have been dedicated and those who will be dedicated, particularly to those in the Mekongis parish, those in Mekongis, in the Rest Parish Mekongi, where they shall be having the dedication at 3 p.m. Salve Vichinus to you all, and we dance to the Diocese of Kumbo, which is 40 years now.
Sing your praises.